Good evening, I'm Pallavi Ghosh, and yet another trip of Rahul Gandhi has now stoked a controversy. Rahul Gandhi is on a bike ride for 4 days to Ladakh, but over there on the second day, he questioned the government and the Prime Minister's claim that not an inch of land has gone to the Chinese. Rahul Gandhi says that when he spoke to the locals over there, they told him that this is not true. In fact, they can't even go out and graze because that land has been snatched away. As expected, the BJP hit out at Rahul Gandhi on two grounds. One, that is a pack of lies, according to the BJP. And second, once again, Rahul Gandhi is maligning the image of the country as well as undermining the work being done by our armed forces on the border 24/7 throughout the year.
यहाँ तो क्लियरली सब लोग कह रहे हैं, प्रधानमंत्री जी ने कहा 1 इंच ज़मीन नहीं गई, मगर वो सच नहीं है। तो यहाँ आप किसी से भी पूछ लीजिए, वो आपको बता देंगे।
उनके चाइना के साथ क्या संपर्क है, इस देश की लोगों को मालूम है। चाइना की वकालत करने वाले लोग भारत में घड़ियाली आंसू बहा रहे हैं।
So this is going to be the hot topic of discussion. Has Rahul Gandhi told a lie? Has he overstepped himself? Or is it a fact that the dragon has been tamed as the government claims? Well, joining me this evening is first the Congress spokesperson, Mohan Kumaramangalam. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. And of course, thank you very much, Shehzad Poonawalla, who's right over here with us in this studio. Before I come to you, Shehzad, I want to ask this question of the Congress party. Mr. Kumaramangalam, why is it that when Rahul Gandhi, he also met up with the armed forces, I think a group of them, he went to one of those camps. So he meets up with them, he pats them on their back, and then, when he makes a statement that land has been lost to the Chinese, isn't it then raising a question mark over the ability of our armed forces, our Faujis, to protect our land, protect our border?
Pallavi, I don't see it as that. I mean, when did this issue first come to light? Look at it, the loss of access to specific locations in Ladakh came to light when a research paper authored by the Superintendent of Leh Ladakh was presented at an annual conference of Director Generals of Police. I think it was in the last week of January in Delhi. That paper actually says that 26 of our 65 patrolling points have been lost because of no patrolling by the Indian security forces, and the Chinese have gradually encroached on our areas. As a follow-up to that, Congress Member of Parliament, Mr. Manish Tiwari, has asked the government about 57 times in Parliament to respond to this paper, which was summarily taken down by the government from the website of that conference. And there's no response at all. Now, everyone knows that there are issues at the border, but the Prime Minister says that we haven't lost an inch, and here you have someone who's the superintendent of Leh Ladakh, actually presenting a paper at a conference saying that 26 of the 65 patrolling points in eastern Ladakh are not patrolled anymore by us, and that the Chinese have encroached on our territory. Now, who's telling lies in this? It's pretty obvious that the Prime Minister himself who said that not a single inch has gone, has actually lied to the people of India. And how is this an attack on the armed forces? It is basically trying to ask the Prime Minister to come clean for once.
Okay.
Let me ask you one last thing I want to say. In 1962, when the war was happening in China, and Vajpayee ji, who was a junior MP then, asked for a debate in Parliament, Mr. Nehru, who was the Prime Minister then, immediately accepted, and he asked a whole series of questions. Was he being anti-national? Was he attacking the armed forces during that time? This was in the midst of war. Was he ever accused of doing that during that time? No. So I'm not even sure where this accusation is coming from. We are fully supporting our armed forces. We are trying to hold our politicians to book.
Okay, I'll just come back to you. We also have Wing Commander retired Abhishek Mahiman joining us. I will just come back to you because I need to get in a word from Shehzad. Shehzad, you just heard what he had to say. I'm just going to get straight to you. What do you have to respond?
Since he invoked Mr. Nehru, let me begin with Mr. Nehru. Mr. Nehru, on 31st of August 1959 and 10th of September 1959, in two parliamentary debates said, and I quote Mr. Nehru, Ladakh is sterile. It is described as a barren, uninhabited region without vestige of grass and 17,000 feet high. This is what Mr. Nehru thought. Because you invoked Nehru, I don't think that this debate should be centered about Nehru, because if we go into that, we'll have to go into the fact that he gave up 40,000 square kilometers of Aksai Chin. Let's come back to today's debate. And I have very specific questions for Mr. Mohan. Mr. Mohan, Rahul Gandhi, and I quote him from 2021, and it's a CNN News 18 report. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has given up against China. The Indian territory extends till Finger 4, but China has occupied the land between Finger 3 and Finger 4. The Northern Army commander then said and clarified that getting China to pull back behind Finger 8 is a huge success for us. Did Rahul Gandhi lie about China occupying the area between Finger 3 and Finger 4? Question number one. Question number two, the Indian Army, time and again, whether it's surgical strike, Balakot airstrike or other things, keeps saying that we've done this, but Mr. Gandhi and his ilk say it's Khoon ki dalali, surgical strike, and they blame the Indian armed forces that they have surrendered. So that is doing Sena ka apman. 1 second, do not interrupt Mr. Mohan. I did not interrupt you.
Mr.
I heard you out. And I will sum up by saying, Mr. Mohan, I did not interrupt you. I'm summing up. Mr. Mohan, firstly, did Rahul Gandhi lie in 2021? And now, secondly, Mr. Mohan, specific question. Can you tell me which villages these people hail from who have said that the land has been occupied by the Chinese? Secondly, can you tell me specifically, I don't expect you to tell me the exact coordinates, but can you tell me which area of land has been occupied by the Chinese which was under Indian territory? Specifically, first give me the answer to that specifically. Okay. Because the area which Mr. Rahul Gandhi is in. One second.
No. Wait,
let him tell me the area because I want to answer this question.
I'll have to ask. Yes, I'll come to you.
I need
to get a word in also from Wing Commander retired Abhishek ji. You are hearing both the sides. Beyond the politics of it, I know this has been discussed in Parliament. I also am aware, because I was there, the Defence Minister, the External Affairs Minister, all of them gave a reassurance on the floor of the House that our armed forces are competent to deal with the Chinese. Second, no land has been given to them. You think after that there should be a closure? Or perhaps the Congress does have a point that why do we not reopen this discussion if Rahul Gandhi himself has seen for himself and people are telling him that land has indeed been lost to the Chinese?
See, what happens in the current context when we are talking about the northern line of actual control is, as far as the military perspective is concerned, things are very clear. Whether it be the military commanders or the ruling dispensation, the maximum or the availability of specific information about the nitty-gritties of the actual positions of the troops is best known to them. Apart from that, what happens is we must understand, and we have been talking about it time and again, when we talk about the line of actual control, there are perceptions. There is an Indian perception of the line of actual control and there is a Chinese perception of the line of actual control, wherein which actually what happens is, in this case, that change and difference in perception creates the zone wherein political perceptions seep in. Had it been an international border, there was hardly any scope for us to have debates on this or discuss the matter at length. So what I see it as, the overall situation as in the current context is that we must look at the larger perspective. If we had faced a real situation on ground in June 2020 at Galwan, so post that we must look at the rapid pace at which we have developed infrastructure in the sector, not only post Galwan, even prior to that, the last few years, the way we have been preparing ourselves, the way the forces have been redeployed, that we are in a position for the last now over 3 years that we have been looking eye to eye and have been able to effectively counter any progress in that case. If we talk about certain sectors wherein we keep debating about the patrolling points lost, there are some sectors wherein we had made advances also. And we must not forget that the military level as well as the diplomatic level talks are also going on concurrently. So what we need from the leadership as a citizen, or even for that matter as a military person, what I need from the leadership, or I expect from the leadership, is to lead the nation in the right direction. Till such time, we are growing over our past capabilities. If we are updating our mechanism, inducting new equipment to be able to stand up to the threats that face us, we are doing well.
Okay. Mr. Kumar Mangalam, I'm going to let you have the word because you want to respond to Shehzad, because then I'm going to go back to Shehzad.
Those people belong
to, and which area has been occupied. There is a very simple response to Shehzad. And I'll respond to him with, why hasn't the question been answered in Parliament when the Superintendent of Leh Ladakh, I am giving you specifics, will you let me talk?
Which villages are those people from? Answer the question, don't obfuscate, don't filibuster.
The Superintendent of Leh Ladakh, forget about what Mr. Gandhi said.
You said villages are
I am talking about the Superintendent of Leh Ladakh said that petroleum points have been lost. Answer that question. Your government has to answer that question.
Okay.
Stop asking me questions of which cases have gone on.
Wait.
Pallavi, I am very clear on this debate. Very clear on this debate. Mr. Gandhi, the Honourable MP, has quoted villagers that Indian grazing lands and Indian territory has been occupied by the Chinese. I am asking the spokesperson of Mr. Gandhi, please tell me which villages those people come from, point 1. Point 2, which area has the Chinese occupied which belongs to India, point 2. Point 3, for your information, the defense minister during your tenure said that not building any LAC infrastructure is the best strategy. My government today has created Galwan River Bridge. We have kept assault boats there, heavy machinery. DSDBO has been taken to class 70 specification road, 35 bridges, 9 tunnels including Sela tunnel. BRO, 60,000 kilometers of roads have been created there, 693 bridges have been created there. Habitat for 22,000 troops have been created there. 2,000 kilometers of highway along the McMahon line is being built there. All of this has happened now. Also, let me tell you, Mr. Mangalam, Mr. Mohan, I have not interrupted you. Mr. Mohan, I have not interrupted you. Mr. Mohan, is that your only way of getting a point across, of interrupting me? Pallavi, can I complete? Pallavi, can I complete? Pallavi, can I complete?
Mr. Kumar Mangalam, 1 minute. Shehzad, have you finished?
No, I have one last point to make, and
one last point. Then I'll talk to Mr.
Now, because Mr. Mangalam won't tell me which villages Rahul is referring to, from what I have gauged, Rahul is close by to Phobrang. Now in Phobrang, we have created a road between Lukung and Phobrang. We are connecting the roads from Pangong to Hot Springs. We are building roads from Kartik to Chushul. Where is it that there is a problem? If there was a problem, how are we building these roads? And why didn't you build these roads 60 years, mein?
Okay.
Please tell me specifically which area, which villages are you talking about?
Okay.
Put your mouth where your money is.
Shehzad, now you will not interrupt. Yes, Mr. Kumar Mangalam, jaldi. Because we have to give Wing Commander also some time. Yeah, Mr. Kumar Mangalam, go ahead.
The Prime Minister met Xi Jinping no less than 18 times in 6 years, including 2 record summits in Wuhan and Mamallapuram in Chennai. He also visited China 4 times as Gujarat Chief Minister, I don't know why, and perhaps a couple of times as BJP functionary before that. But when the PM returns, we have occupied 2017, right? And theatre level incursions now in quick succession. So why are they boasting about this build-up? Ask your foreign minister.
You are making the allegation. Tell us. I'll give you the answer.
I am telling you. I'm not.
He does not even know.
I am not.
Which area he's talking about?
Pallavi. If he's going to keep interrupting,
Pallavi is not going to rescue you in this debate. Tell me where is it happening?
Let him complete. Wait, Shehzad, let him complete. Then you ask him.
I will go back to my original question that he will not answer, but responded. What about demand answers from me, who doesn't have access to intelligence right now, but only has one paper, 1 second, has access to one paper presented from someone in the government.
Is that the basis of
the Superintendent of Leh Ladakh, who has said that we have lost 26 of 65 patrolling points, and 57 times question has been raised in Parliament. The question has not been answered. This obviously shows that they have something to hide and they're not coming clean. If there is something wrong, or if there is nothing wrong, as Shehzad wants to maintain, please respond to why that paper was put out and why the Superintendent of Leh Ladakh, was he lying? The question you shouldn't ask is whether Mr. Gandhi is lying or not, but whether someone from the establishment
I want to ask you this question. Mr. Kumar Mangalam, 1 minute. I'll ask him this question on your behalf. I also want to know, was the SP lying? That's the simple question. Yes, no, or we need to have further discussion on this.
Okay, so now that the Congress spokesperson officially, after asking 5 times, not told me which land is occupied, he has gone on to some paper
Yes, I'm
presented
supposed to tell you
and he
why
has
it's
spoken
Mr.
about.
Kumar
Now Mr.
Mangalam,
Mangalam
dekho,
is
you
interrupting.
tell me
Some paper presented, apparently.
you insist that he doesn't interrupt. Now you're interrupting. What am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
Okay,
Let's
Shehzad, go
speak
ahead.
at-
Shehzad, okay,
Yeah,
no pot
let
shots
me-
at anyone.
No,
Please, now you
I'm just
answer
trying to,
about the SP.
I'm just trying to paraphrase what's happened in the debate. Now, Mr. Mangalam, you have raised the point about some paper that we've lost 26 or 36 patrolling points. Can you tell me 5 points which we've lost? Specific 5 points. Which patrolling points have we lost? Tell me the numbers of those points. 5.
Why
Just
am I
5.
supposed to be accountable to tell you the number
Sir,
of
No,
please
it's
tell
not
me
about
the 5
accountability.
specific
Again,
points.
you're
I'll give you the
asking-
specific
again,
answer for
hold
each
on,
patrolling
okay,
point.
hold on.
I have every
Okay, go
patrolling
ahead, go
point
ahead,
information
it's
with me. Pallavi, this has to stop.
How do you have
Pallavi,
every
this has to
patrolling
stop.
Shehzad,
point?
one minute.
With you
Mr.
as a
Kumar
spokesman?
Mangalam.
Pallavi, let's conduct this debate in a
Achha,
manner.
Shehzad, can I decide how to conduct the
No, I
debate?
mean, let me have my full say.
One minute.
Why is he
Shehzad,
interrupting?
you have said
I
enough.
had a
Yeah.
pointed question.
I have been
asked.
interrupted
Respond
every
to my
time. Let me
question.
make my point.
Are you
Was
asking
the
him a question?
superintendent
Yeah,
He's
lying?
not answering, he's
I
filibustering.
want to know was the
Shehzad,
superintendent
I also.
lying?
Now,
Is he
Shehzad,
lying?
okay.
Let me complete
Okay.
my point. Then you can
Mr.
come.
Kumar Mangalam, 1 minute. Shehzad, was the SP lying?
Yes,
Superintendent
I am
lying? Yes or
answering
no?
that.
Just
The
answer that.
problem is-
Let's answer that. Don't ask him 5
Arey
questions.
Baba,
You answer
I am
this.
answering the
Answer
question
that
with
question.
Mr.
law.
Kumar Mangalam, 1 minute. Let me ask him now. Go ahead.
You see, the reason I'm saying that is because he said, and he's quoted that 36 patrolling points have been lost. I am asking him from
26.
that paper which he has read, can you please tell me which of those 5 patrolling points? I'll answer on each specific
Okay,
patrolling
okay.
point.
SP.
Point 1.
As
Point number 2.
superintendent
Point
ka
1.
comment.
Please let me complete, Pal. We had 10 seconds more. Forget the now patrolling points for a minute. He's saying something that is based on the SP's report or some report submitted. Katachivu was handed over in 1974. We are talking about territory of India, right? Taken over by somebody else. Kachachivu, without any doubt, has been handed over to Sri Lanka in 1974.
Yeah, first
You are
learn to
asking a
pronounce the
question.
name. Kachachivu nahi hai.
No,
Kachachivu
that's all
hai.
right. My
Don't
pronunciation
talk
might
about
not be
anything
fantastic.
south
I
of
agree with
India.
you.
My God.
And my pronunciation
I
might be
think,
wrong.
wait,
Of course
now
it's
I might
wrong.
as well ask a question
Now,
to Wing
please tell
Commander.
me- Please tell me the
Commander.
patrolling points and
Answer
please
the
tell us
specific
about
question.
Kachachivu.
I am not going to tell you about Kachativ because I want you to respond to my simple question on Eastern Ladakh, on whether the superintendent was lying or not. Forget about Kachativ and what
You tell
happened
me the
there.
5 patrolling points which
I
have been
want to know
lost.
why should I
Tell
tell
me
you
which
the
5
5
So
patrolling
what is
points
going to
have been
happen
lost.
Was there a
is,
paper or
neither
was
are
there
you
not?
going to mention those
Was
5
there a
patrolling
paper
points and
or-
Shehzad, neither are
Why
you
am
going to
I
talk about the
accountable to mention
I'll
superintendent's
tell you why
comment.
he's lying. I'll tell you why he's lying.
Okay,
I'll tell you why he's
Oh, the
lying.
superintendent's
I'll tell you why he's
lying.
lying.
Great.
Who's lying? Superintendent.
We have
Why
it on
is
Other Wing
Mr.
Commander.
why is
Acha, Kumar
Mr.
Mangalam. Okay,
Congress
fine.
Party
Go ahead.
spokesperson lying?
Okay.
Because Rahul Gandhi, based on this half-baked information, said that China is occupying the land between finger 3 and finger 4. Is that a fact? Is that a
Listen,
fact?
Pallavi.
Is
Can
that
I
a
come in
fact,
for a
Mr.
second
Kumar
here?
Mangalam?
No,
Rahul Gandhi
I'm not
said
going to
it's
take
quoted
questions
on
from.
CNBC
I'm not going to take
18.
questions from riffraff. Pallavi, let me come in on
No,
one single
no,
point here.
no.
Is it a fact? Yes
hold
or
on
no?
a second.
Tell us.
I am going to keep asking that question because he's not responding to it. And if you're going to pretend like the paper doesn't exist, you can do that in
So
Parliament.
you're basing
And
all your
deny
arguments
Mr.
on a
Manish
paper or on
Tiwari
villagers?
The right to have
Is
his
it
question
paper or
answered
villagers?
57 times.
Villagers or
Let
paper?
me ask you very
Okay,
simply,
Shehzad,
was the superintendent
I just
of
want to ask
Leh
this
Ladakh
question.
lying?
If
All
Rahul
I'm just
Gandhi
gonna answer-
claims,
answer that question.
Mr. Kumar Mangalam, if, can I also ask Wing Commander some question? But Shehzad, 1 minute. Shehzad, the point is, if Rahul Gandhi says that he has eyewitness accounts
Right.
who have told him that they've lost their land which they used to graze on because the Chinese have entered, do you think you should listen to those villagers also?
Right. Absolutely perfect question.
No pot shots at anyone. I want an answer to this. I'm going to ask Wing Commander question.
Rahul Gandhi is a member of parliament, a responsible person. He has said he has eyewitness accounts that we have lost land. I am asking the representative of Rahul Gandhi, which villages are those representatives from who have told this to Rahul Gandhi?
Okay.
Can I know that?
Wing Commander.
This was my first opening question.
Wing Commander, Rahul Gandhi's claim that there were villagers who told him that land has been taken away by the Chinese. Is that the way to go? Do you think Rahul Gandhi then needs to go back to Parliament, raise this point, and the government also has to give importance to these witnesses who told Rahul Gandhi allegedly that land has been taken by the Chinese? Yeah, quickly.
See, now as a nation and as a nation into its Amrit Kal, everyone knows we are making rapid progress in all aspects, all spheres, and therefore even the voter, the present day voter also knows that we are into the final year of the governance by the current dispensation. The final year, no wonder being dedicated more towards political slugfest and they basically building up a mahal for the coming in elections. These things are likely to continue. Well, that having said that, more important is to realize that uneasy lies the head that bears the crown. All said and done, the nitty-gritties and whether what the villagers have said to Rahul Gandhi, what is right or how much of truth is there in those statements will need to be actually done by way of fact finding on ground.
Okay.
These statements are likely to come through here on for the next several months, and we should be prepared for it. What is the welcoming? We should look at the positive aspects. There are airfields in the vicinity of these areas where we are facing challenges from the Chinese, which have been upgraded, which have been reactivated. The force repositionings have been done with some recent equipment, which can straight away, which enables us. Great force enhancing equipment have been deployed.
Okay.
And
Mr. Kumaramangalam, Mr. Kumaramangalam, I saw that tweet of Mr. Kiran Rijiju also. Isn't it also an acknowledgement of the fact that there has been some infrastructure which has been developed in that particular region? Or you don't want to give that credit?
The credits I will give to the BJP government is that they've done a decent job in building infrastructure across the country. And I want to now take the rest of the time I have before I get interrupted to read out an excerpt from the superintendent's paper, which is PD Nitya's paper. Okay. Presently, there are 65 patrolling points starting from Karakoram Pass to Chumur, which are to be patrolled regularly by the ISFs. Out of 65 patrolling points, our presence is lost in 26, 5 to 17, 24 to 32, 37, 51, 52, 62. Due to restrictive or no patrolling by the ISFs. Later on, China forces us to accept the fact that as such areas have not seen the presence of ISFs or civilians since long, the Chinese were always present in these areas. Please ask him to respond on whether this person is lying or not.
Okay.
That's all I want.
Now can I respond?
Mr. Kumaramangalam, now you will not interrupt. Shehzad, please go ahead. And Shehzad, no pot shots, please reply.
Thank you very much. Now I wish, just like you're reading this report with as much intent, you would have read the Sham Saran report, which said that a lot of patrolling points, including 10, 11, 11A, 12, 13, had de facto been lost and became part of Chinese territory, which they incursed over a period of time when you were ruling. So please tell me, that was that done during your tenure or during our tenure?
And who was Mr. Sham Saran when he wrote this report?
Sham Saran is in 2013 report. This is a report during the UPA. This is the problem with you people. The problem is that you all... Now, please don't interrupt. You just said you won't interrupt.
I won't interrupt.
Sir, you just said you won't interrupt. Here is the report.
Okay, Shehzad, finish. Because we are running out of time, so I want to give you...
This is a report of media. 2013, Depsang had been incursed by the Chinese. At that time, Prime Minister Manmohan Singh and Salman Khurshid said, do not talk much about it, don't give it too much attention. In fact, there's a report about how journalists were being threatened that FIRs will be filed if they will report on this. And Mr. Salman Khurshid went on live and said that this is like acne, it can be treated with an ointment. This is the approach they took. They built no infrastructure. At the time when we were challenging the Chinese in Doklam, who was eating Chinese food with the Chinese under the Chinese tent? It was Rahul Gandhi. Who has taken money from the Chinese into RGF? It is Rahul Gandhi's family. Who has signed an MOU with the Chinese? It is your party. Kindly stop lecturing us. We have built infrastructure.
I'm going to give you a chance now. Let him finish. Shehzad, have you finished?
No, I just want to show you one more part where they lie.
Quickly.
They keep saying that the incursion has taken place. They spun a story about how a village had been built in Arunachal. It turned out that that village had been built in 1959. This is the way they manipulate facts. And now Rahul Gandhi has come on record and said villagers have told him. Since the starting of the debate, I'm saying, where are these villagers from?
Mr.
Kumaramangalam, please answer that question.
Mr. Kumaramangalam, please answer. I guarantee you Shehzad won't interrupt. Yeah, okay.
I'll just say the amount of money that the Chinese and Chinese companies have put into PM cares, he's one to talk about a small amount that went into RGF. The 3 times that money went from the Chinese embassy into our foreign minister's son's foundation and no action was taken, he's one to talk about the Chinese being involved. The number of times Rav Mandav and the BJP went to go meet the CCP on various occasions. He's one to talk about one particular event that happened when the Congress went and talked to the CCP. So please, let's not get into nonsensical issues. The only issue here we need to talk about is whether the superintendent's report is true or not. And I have not heard any rebuttal. Again,
okay, Shehzad.
He's been caught.
Mr. Kumar Mangalam, have you finished?
Yes, I have. I still haven't got an answer.
Okay.
One second.
Shehzad,
one second.
you have to
showed
answer
Rahul
the
Gandhi's
superintendent part.
Yes.
Yeah.
Rahul Gandhi, what did he say?
Do you not want to go by the superintendent's report? That's what Mr. Kumar Mangalam is asking.
So is Mr. Kumar Mangalam, the official spokesperson of Rahul Gandhi and Congress Party, saying that Rahul was wrong when he was quoting villages? First, he should answer that question and settle that debate. That is entire... One second.
No, he's not saying that.
Pallavi. I'm happy to have a discussion fully and completely on the so-called report, provided first he says that the allegation made today by Rahul Gandhi about villagers telling him is not to be taken seriously, because I've asked him for the 10th time, where are those villagers from? Either you don't know or Rahul Gandhi was lying about that. Please first answer that, then we can move on to the report that you're quoting.
Fine.
Let me know about the villagers.
I'll say I wasn't there and I have not spoken to Mr. Gandhi or his
Please play the bite of Rahul
about
Gandhi.
Which, one second.
Please play the bite of Rahul Gandhi.
No, in his bite he doesn't mention the place.
No, he's not mentioned the place, but he has spoken about villagers telling him.
I have said, yes, he has. Villagers told him.
So please tell us, where are those villagers from?
Can you let me finish?
Where are they from?
Shehzad, when you meet Rahul Gandhi, you ask him that question. Can we have the discussion back on this track?
Shouldn't he tell us?
Mr. Kumar Mangal, do you know which villagers Rahul Gandhi was referring to?
No,
yes, no.
No,
you don't. So you want the superintendent's report to be the benchmark for this discussion? Okay. So he wants the superintendent's report. Basically, Shehzad, what Mr. Kumar Mangalam is saying is that forget what Rahul Gandhi said, forget what the superintendent said. There have been multiple allegations and reports that there have been incursions by the Chinese in at least some part of the territory, whether it's in Arunachal Pradesh, whether it's in Ladakh. Does the government say an absolute no to it? Quickly, we are running out of time.
Not an inch of Indian land has been occupied by the Chinese, and Rahul Gandhi and his ilk have quoted and misquoted people time and again. I gave you 3 examples. Finger 3 to finger 4 has been occupied by the Chinese. That's what Rahul said. Was it true? Can he answer?
Okay. We are really time out. I'm sure we're going to have this discussion till Rahul Gandhi goes on yet another trip, because that's again going to stoke controversy. At least the BJP would want to stoke a controversy. Thank you very much, Shehzad. Thank you very much, Mr. Mohan Kumar Mangalam. And thank you very much, Wing Commander Abhishek as well. That's it for me from now, but news continues over here on CNN News 18.